I was involved in a frightening incident while driving cross-country to a work convention. The events that unfolded on that cold winter road didn't just scare me, they shattered my very foundation. To this day, the memory of that journey still fills me with dread. It was a blustery Tuesday afternoon. The roads had been recently ploughed, leaving tall, rough-edged walls of snow. I see a sign for a rest stop and decide to pull over. I need to stretch my legs and break the monotony of the drive. My tyres crunch over the snow as I enter the car park. There is one other car in the lot, a red sedan. It's stacked high with an assortment of suitcases and bags. As I head to the main building, I glance through the window and see a man hunkered down in the back seat. The way his head is hanging, I wonder if he might be ill, and I pause to peer closer. Abruptly, his body snaps upright, and he turns towards me, the movement sharp and intense. He's wearing a bunny mask, which boasts a disturbing level of deranged creativity. This isn't some clean store-bought mask. It's old and tattered, like it's been dragged through hell and back. The white fur is stained and matted, sticking out in clumps, and the eyes are ragged black holes, through which he stares at me. I get the feeling it's time to move on. I flash him a smile and a little wave to show that I mean no harm, and head inside the building that houses the restrooms. I'm a little peckish, so on my way out of the bathroom I stop off in the lobby area at a vending machine. A young woman is there too, buying candy. I figure that she must be the driver of the red sedan. I make some small talk, and she tells me that she's travelling home to visit family. It's a brief, pleasant exchange, and her clean-cut looks are a world away from her grubby backseat passenger. I make a light-hearted joke as she reaches for her snack. "Are there any antibiotics in there for your bunny friend?" I ask. "It looks like he might have myxomatosis." Her brow furrows. Then she offers a polite, albeit puzzled goodbye before walking out of the door. I'm left standing there, a bit embarrassed by my misjudged attempt at humour. I hope I didn't just insult a family member. As I buy a pack of jerky, a growing sense of unease chews at my gut. Something about this whole situation feels off. Out here, in the middle of nowhere, was it possible that someone had crept into her car without her knowing? I head back outside into the parking lot and see the woman's car pulling away. I wave my arms at her to stop, but she doesn't see me. I get in my car and head after her. I don't know what my plan is, but my instincts are telling me that she is in danger. The sun has now set, and the roads are dark and dangerous. I drive off the ramp onto the main road and see the taillights of the red sedan ahead of me. I chew on some jerky as I deliberate my next steps. I'm acutely aware that any action I take on these lonely roads could be perceived as very intimidating. My options are limited, and I decide the safest course of action is to flash my headlights. I ease onto the accelerator and close the gap between us, then toggle my full beam so that they blink on and off. Light floods the back of her car, illuminating her stacked luggage, but no sign of that man. That doesn't seem right to me. Any ordinary passenger would be sat upright, not crouched down. Her brake lights come on and her car slows. It looks like she got the message, and I wait for her to pull over, but instead her hand waves at me to go around. She thinks that I want to overtake. I pick up speed and level out next to her car and try to get her attention. Her gaze remains fixed on the road ahead, so I honk my horn. She performs a double take as she looks in my direction. I point to her back seat and gesture for her to pull over, but she doesn't understand. She shakes her head, her face washed with fear. My attempts to help are translating poorly. I'm coming across like a full-blown lunatic. As we race down the road, I can see that she's just not getting it. The road is treacherous, coated in a thin layer of ice and snow. If I'm not careful, I'll run her off the road. so reluctantly I ease off the gas, letting her car slip away. Her headlights cast long shadows on the snow as she disappears into the darkness. My heart races, filled with doubt about my choices. The road ahead is quiet now, and my car's engine hums steadily as occasional gusts of wind batter the side doors. My driver's window is steaming up, and I use my sleeve to wipe a porthole for myself. I glance up at the tall trees that blur past. Every so often I pass a winding side road, and I can't help but imagine the worst. What if that woman is helpless and hidden down one of those forgotten routes? They're reminders of how easy it would be to vanish without a trace, swallowed up by the vast, cold wilderness. That slobbering bunny man would have all the time in the world to act out any disturbing fantasy he wanted. I anxiously pop some more jerky into my mouth and then seal up the bag. Its thick smell is marinating with my own nervous perspiration. I've really stunk up the car. As the road unfolds before me, weaving through the dense, snow-laden landscape, I see the unmistakable flicker of police lights, a beacon of blue and red sweeping at the snow. My gaze sharpens as I pick out the familiar shape of the woman's red sedan beside the patrol vehicle. I slow down and pull over, parking a safe distance away. My hands tremble on the steering wheel as I imagine the horrors of what might lie ahead. Then the young woman steps out from behind the patrol car. She's talking to the police officer. I know that I need to head over and explain what I saw. As I step out into the cold, her eyes catch mine, and she clasps her hands to her mouth. She must think I'm fucking crazy. The officer notices her reaction immediately. I can almost feel the shift in the air, the tension spiking. I make sure to stay back, raising my voice that I can be heard. I tell them that I was driving after her because I saw a man in her back seat. I gesture towards her car, keeping my movements calm and steady. The officer shines his flashlight through her car windows, but there's nobody there. Meanwhile, the woman is moving behind the cop, her fear palpable even from a distance. She screams at me, demanding I tell her where my creepy passenger in the mask is, the one she saw in the back seat of my car when I pulled up alongside her, the man with the large hook. This isn't right. I stand there, dumbfounded, my mind racing to make sense of her claims. The officer's eyes dart between us, his expression shifting from suspicion to something more thoughtful. With a silent nod, we all trudge towards my vehicle, the slosh of snow underfoot the only sound in the tense silence. I'm desperately trying to recall if I locked my car when I was back at the rest stop, as I notice my passenger door slightly ajar, gaping like a sinister smile. Terror wells up in me as the officer's flashlight beam sweeps inside my car. It lands on a horrifying sight, a rusty hook, brutally embedded into the back of my headrest, the foam bursting out like the innards of a gaping wound. A greasy, smeared handprint marks the upholstery, and there is a scrawled message on the fogged-up glass that reads, "Lucky escape." I can't tell you how much this experience screwed me up. I guess that woman being pulled over by the cop saved my life. The thought of the grisly end I almost met has burrowed into my brain. Now, I'm always sure to lock my car, and I never forget to check the back seat.